I'm Yuta Nakamura. I'm from Hokkaido, Japan, and I'm a film director and a photographer and part-time ski guide in Hokkaido. I got interested in the forestry because I love going outside and then just do outdoor stuff. And one day I felt like I don't know anything about trees, so I was wondering who I should ask for. So I started visiting the forest and asked about trees and stuff. And about the films, it took me 4 years to get to know them, the foresters.
Let's introduce them first.
Okay.
So these are the guys.
These are the guys, Guy, Yoshida, Shigeaki, Adachi. They are the main character in this film. They are really cool. They have long hair, very laid back, easygoing kind of vibe. So when I first met them, I was like, oh my god, really cool. These guys are really cool. So the curiosity of about the trees and the forest let me keep going, visit the forest, and then somehow I made a film at the end. Yeah. So at first, I didn't have any idea of making film. I just wanted to be in the woods and then just observe them doing what they're doing. But also, like, as a photographer, I was documenting them as well. And then, you know, since they were so cool, I just wanted to share their story and then how they care about the woods and then their style of forestry. I just wanted to tell that with everyone. So one day I was like, oh, let's make a film. But you know, the process of making film isn't that easy, because making documentary is kind of like you have to be responsible to be a storyteller, because you have to be, to me, as a documentarian, you have to be trusted to hear their voice. So it took me 3 years to get to know them and then make make them feel comfortable enough to share what they're really thinking in the depth with me. And then and 1.5 years of filming. And then I put it all together. That's how I made this film.
How do you? Oh, thank you. So, how did you get them to trust you? Because I think that's a very important thing, and you can hopefully you'll feel in the documentary the amount of like trust and like natural feeling to it.
So obviously I brought a camera, but I didn't take any pictures of them in the beginning because I felt like you're not ready yet. You know what I mean? Like you're not like you don't know anything about the forestry yet to film about us. I felt about it. So I put the camera down and I started helping them out, cutting trees and bringing the timber out, carrying the timber out, stuff like that. And I kept doing that for 6 months. And then I think that built a little bit of trust in the beginning from them. And then eventually I felt comfortable enough to film them.
森の自然のものって大事にこう収穫したり大事に気づけたりそのものがきちっと分かってたらこうそのまま使える資源なわけなんだけどそれに気づけてないもったいなさみたいなのがすごい感じます。なんかこう自分たちにこうでなければいけないみたいなこう枠組みを作ってしまってそれが楽だからって言うんだけどでもそれは人間が楽だと仮定してるだけの話であってその枠組みをそのいろんな環境いろんな条件の森にこう持ってった時に何が一番負荷がかかるかって言ったら現場に立ってる人間たちとその人間たちに介入される自然環境森の世界なわけだからそこで一番負荷がかかってしまったらその先何にも楽に仕事できないんですよ。木材流通から、木を使ったデザインから何からする。なんかそういうものをもっと楽にするためには観察して考えて予想を立てて丁寧にやってみてちゃんと反省してまた次につなぐそういう丁寧なことをやっていかなきゃいけないけど今はもうバッと入ってバッと帰りますみたいなそれで低コストだとか高効率だとか高性能だとかそういう話じゃないんだよっていう。
One last question before we start. Is there anything that you tried to be careful or like conscious about as you were filming this to tell the story the way you wanted to?
So, the forestry is a serious work, right? Sometimes you get killed by trees. So I didn't want them to feel like unnatural by being filmed. So I tried to be as natural as possible. Like basically I tried to be an air, being there. So I didn't ask them anything to do, like act like being filmed, you know?
You didn't ask them like, can you please cut down a tree today? I really need a tree cutting down.
Yeah, I didn't ask anything like that. So like I would say, these guys on the film, they're as natural as they are. Hopefully, yeah.
世代につなぎますってただ簡単に言うのは簡単だけど その間にできることとか想像できることはいっぱいあって、絶対に確認できない自分がやった答えみたいなものをこう今このあるこの風景の中で想像して多分明日変わるかもしれない、その想像は。それでもいいからその想像した通りというか、こうなればいいんだろうなっていう方向にこの森を持っていくというよりも自分の行動を持っていくっていうか、それができることかなと思ってて、それが結果的に次世代につながっていけばいいんだろうなっていうことで。
人が森に入って手を入れることで残っていくものの資源が豊かになる。でその豊かになった森資源を受け継いでいきたいかな。
This is very different than the United States version of forestry, where we have an industry that harvests the resource. And obviously that wasn't part of your show. I wonder if you have, I have like 6 questions in one. If you have industrial issues that you're competing with. It was also obvious that a lot of the forest is deciduous, which is different from our industrial forests, which are Douglas fir and pine and other conifers. So I'm interested in knowing how much of the forest is deciduous versus conifer, and how much of it is commercialized. And how did these foresters get access to the chance to do the work you just demonstrated? Did they choose that, or did they have to go through some kind of selection process for people to get that job?
So the forest they're walking on, it's not industrial standard forest. So there's a clear cutting in Japan as well. They clear cut and then replant, mostly conifer trees. And then in the mainland Japan, it's safe to say there's more conifer trees than broadleaf trees. But this forest right here in Hokkaido, this is how it used to look like. But in the mainland, it's all cut down after the World War II. And then it's like second generation right now. So when you drive around the mainland Japan, the trees you see is mostly conifer trees. Like cedar, those kind of trees. But in Hokkaido, people are trying to bring back the well-balanced broadleaf trees and conifers, well-mixed forest. So now it's 20 to 30% of this kind of trees, this kind of forest, and now exist in Japan. Yeah.
And how did those guys get their job?
They have private contractor, so they get the job from them. Sometimes they're a government, like a town or city or private companies, stuff like that.
You want to mention about the school's forest?
There's like 5 different forests in this film, but the one of them is owned by a school, like high school. And in this high school, in their philosophy, taking care of the forest is really good for education. So they have a forest, and then sometimes they do a workshop at the forest, cutting the trees or thinning the branches, stuff like that. Yeah. So they get they have different contractors depending on the forest. Yeah. So this film is not just about the forestry they do, but to me as a director, I put some message that in the forest they work, there's a pure like human life is right there that taking long time to care about something. And I wish a lot of people know that, like people around my age. Because in Japan, not just Hokkaido, but all Japan, the 70% of our land is covered by the forest. And that just shows how close we are with the nature. But I feel like our young generation is having less connection with the nature around us. But I hope this film carries the message that, like, hey, take a moment to realize what's around you. And there's so much around you, like in the forest. So as a director, I put in some message, something like that, in this film. It's not really required to leave the trees when they're cut down, but those foresters leave trees when they're cut down. It's for the ecosystem, because in the film they mentioned the way they do, they think themselves is a part of the forest. Just like as the deers, bears, we have bears, and then so they care so much about the forest. But so it depends on the forest. But most industrial forests, they don't really leave any trees. So when you look at the clear cutting, there's literally nothing there. So we have a loophole in our forestry law as well. So currently there's a problem of building solar panel in the forest, and then currently lots of constructions going on, and then they cut a huge land of trees, and then they built the solar panel. And also that led the problem of the bear coming out to the town and attack the people. But people seems to ignore what's the underlying problem. And then some people like trying to kill the bear them all, get rid of all the bears, but that's not how it works. There are still lots of issues going on, but I hope this film. I didn't make this film to say absolutely no clear cutting, and then any ways of forestry should coexist, and then for industrial purpose or for carrying the forestry as well. But just the style like this, I hope a lot of people realize the possibility of the forest and what we have around us. Yeah.